those birds are flying up high and soaring, it's majestic. But they're in the water with that big fish, it's awkward. It's a struggle. That eagle, that bird, whatever it is, like I said, I don't really care exactly what it is. Carrying this giant fish. Let's talk about what's happening there, right? What that bird is not thinking to itself is, oh man, why did I have to catch such a big fish? This is hard. The bird is not saying, God, why did you curse me with this heavy load? The bird is thinking, tonight we feast. Me and my little eaglets are about to have a feast. It does take a lot less effort to do nothing. But the Lord, when he created, creation, he programmed in the DNA of these birds of prey to soar, but also to strike and then to struggle. And that's how they nourish themselves so that they can keep soaring. That's how they nourish future generations so they can spread their offspring. But to do that, they've got to go through that cycle, soaring, striking, and struggling. And we go through a similar cycle, I think, as Christians. There are seasons of sowing, and there are seasons of planting, there are seasons of harvest, there are seasons of reaping. We can learn a lot about spiritual truth from the world around us and creation that God has created. But when we go through these harder seasons of struggle, this is not the moment to become discouraged and feel defeated. It's not a time to be depressed and cry out, God, why are you letting me go through this hard thing? There's more at play than that. In fact, James chapter 1 says, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. And then it says this, let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. In other words, for you to become the finished product, you must struggle. In order for you to be fully used by God to the complete potential of your purpose, you've got to go through hard seasons. You have to struggle. If you want to lack nothing, you have to struggle. And maybe some of you are surprised that the Christian life is actually harder than your old sinful life. I mean, not everybody has that testimony. I mean, some of you, before you became a Christian, you were living rough. And you're like, this is way easier than what I was doing. But a lot of you, at least in many ways, you would say it was easier when I was just a sinner. I could just go along with the flow. I could just do whatever felt good. I could just serve myself. In many ways, man, following Jesus, it can be harder. Being saved is easy, but following Jesus can be hard. But I'll tell you this also, in every way, it's better. We've got to get clear on this, and it's not something I even like, but easier isn't always better. When Jesus' disciples were not yet called by him, before that, several of them were fishermen, and Jesus found a couple of them fishing on the water one day. They'd been out there fishing all day, and they hadn't caught a single thing. So you think about what that means. It's discouraging. They're probably out there thinking, like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do if we don't catch anything? And Jesus comes along and he tells them, throw your nets on the other side of the boat. And then miraculously, their nets were full of fish. Jesus did a miracle. You know what they weren't thinking? You know what Peter wasn't thinking? Like, oh man, why did God curse us with these heavy nets? Now I got to pull these nets into my boat. Oh God, why have you forsaken me? No, he's thinking, we're going to need a bigger boat. Before he called them, they weren't out there just doing crossword puzzles and enjoying the good life. They were stressed. And I think as Jesus came along and gave them all this work to do, they probably realized that they were also being blessed.